Okay, and speaking of customers, so we've been enjoying double speed since the pandemic hit. At least I'd say personally that is one of the benefits of coronavirus. And it seems like your infrastructure is handling it well. So are we going to maintain the same energy of double speeds? Or once things stabilize, should we just mentally prepare for things to go back to what we actually pay for?
So I think, as you said, double speeds was one of the decisions that we needed to take to work with the customers through this pandemic. One of the things we pride ourselves is that we are a learning organization. We said, let's just do it. Let's see what is the impact.
Hey, what's up guys? Here is Gadgets Africa and my name is Saruni Maina, and today we have sort of a different kind of video. I am with someone who I'll introduce in a bit, and we're here to talk about Safaricom Home Fibre. And I know it's sort of a hot topic, especially for the guys in Nairobi. We're always either praising Safaricom Home, having a complaint about Safaricom Home, and we are going to talk about all of those things and get a bit more clarity on what exactly happens behind the scenes, especially now that we've been home for about 6 months thanks to the coronavirus. And I am joined with Mr. Charles Wanjohi, the Director Consumer Business, Safaricom. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm happy to be here.
All right, we're also very happy for you to join us, and thank you for your time as well. And so we'll just kick it off straight to the first question. Like, how has it been for Safaricom Home in the background since the coronavirus pandemic kicked in?
So this has been one of the, I would say, 6 months.
Yeah.
We are 7 months now. We are actually in mid-October.
Yeah.
I think generally was it announced on 1st of March or something? And I think for us, our whole world turned upside down.
I can imagine something that you had not anticipated.
No one had anticipated. We had actually just started our financial year. Our financial year starts in April. So you can imagine all the plans that we had done, for how our year will look like April.
It's going to be a breeze.
Then come this virus from China, which started, giving some rumors in November, December, actually came home, and actually all the plans got, thrown out of the window. So I think one of the first things we saw is the shift from, let me say, office premises to home.
Yes.
Then the second thing is that actually, life has to continue. So how do you continue life if people are not working from offices which have been set up for working from, offices to working from home? What do you need? Okay, people could carry their laptops, which generally I think as a country, we've done well to equip, people to carry their laptop and connectivity. But the requirement to being always on meant that now people wanted the same level of connectivity that you see in offices at home. What it takes to connect at home, you have to go physically to a customer's, premises. So imagine this is the same time the first coronavirus case was announced in Ongata Rongai. In that same premises, there are some customers who wanted to get connected. You, Saruni, just imagine for yourself the anxiety that you felt when you had coronavirus is here with us. Then being told, go and connect customers in the, it's called patient zero premises. So the first thing, actually, there was a huge demand, but home fiber, unlike, let me say, GSM, where you just put up a site and then there's no physical interaction, you don't go to anyone's home. For every home customer, you have to go and connect them at home.
Physically.
Remember the anxiety of even going to visit your friend.
During that first month.
Yes, the first month. And that's the time also all customers are requesting, for Safaricom Home Fibre. I mean, we are human beings, our contractors are, human beings. So actually the first step that we did was basically to equip our home contractors with PPEs. So as the country was also struggling with getting PPEs for medical staff, we were also struggling to get PPEs for our home contractors, because it's only human that if you are sending someone to go and connect someone in their home, and that time there was so much misconceptions, anxiety about this, COVID, how is it spread, how fatal is it? We had to actually go looking for those N95. So we learned all those terminologies about what is a medical grade N95 versus a surgical mask, versus do you need surgical gloves, how much sanitizer do you carry, how many days do the mask take. So for me, it was actually very interesting to be, as Mutahi, he was thinking about securing the front line. As we also thinking about securing, frontline agents.
Your own kind of
which is for fixed, which is people who are actually, because you could not abandon our customers. They said, yes. I need to work from home. Yeah. And I'm working from home because I'm running away from COVID. Yeah. But we have to, step in actually to do that. So we learned a lot. The demand was very high. We had to, get much more, contractors. We had to look for PPEs, which was also a problem, even for the whole country to equip. It was very expensive, but it was the, bare minimum we could do to actually, support our consumer. Second thing is that now, the requirement for bandwidth is that in terms of connectivity from home, even in the office, people never used to do video calls.
Yes.
Now they start wanting to do video calls, Zooms, Teams, Google Hangouts, all those things. They become the requirement, which means the bandwidth is required in high. So we just did a quick discussion as a team, and we said let's double the the bandwidth. And then now how do we keep our people actually? And then the next thing is that we had routers. For in home we bring you that nice white. I hope you have the nice white one.
White router.
Those routers come from China.
Oh wow.
Okay. The global pandemic hit. So globally, all over the world, everyone is looking for routers, no? Because everyone needs to work from home. It's just not a Kenya issue. So again, router supply. Now that becomes so customer has paid.
Wow.
Yeah. They are saying, you told me you'll come and connect. There was nothing coming in from China other than medical equipment in the month of March and April. Yeah. So we really were scrambling around saying, where in the world globally are these routers available? Because everyone in the world is also looking for PPs. They're also looking for routers because of working from home. Yeah. So these are some of the very interesting things that we went through to try and walk the journey with our customers to make sure that we are there for them as the corona virus started and people had to move from offices to home. The traffic growth has been tremendous in terms of the usage per customer. The guys working from home, the use cases. People generally used to take home fiber for streaming. Netflix, YouTube, football, those things. Those are the things which were, let me say, the primary use cases. What you've seen now much more is education. Someone calling to say my child was on Zoom. They were kicked off. The lesson is on. Why is the fiber not working? Because there was a much more prolonged let me say kids being at home. So as the parent is also struggling with their Zoom connectivity, even the child is also struggling with that. But you see, not all I'll say children had the same opportunity. So even for those who don't have that level of smartphones, good fiber connectivity, we provided some solutions using basic 2G, SMS-based text learning. So education became one of the very interesting use cases we saw. Gaming also was an interesting use case that we saw because people had much more time. So the engagement of Fortnite on the network, those things which require latencies in milliseconds. But I also think we were also lucky that at the same time, one of the things which is very bandwidth hungry is when people are trying to watch football or live sports. Luckily live sports were off for a couple of months. But also the key players, Netflix, Google, Facebook, they did some work globally to optimize how much bandwidth was being consumed because they realized the obligation they have to support the telecom operators and countries because demand shot up like this.
Literally.
A non-network is a provision for a network is like a factory. You just don't wake up and double the capacity. You need to do some systematic planning. But now people are home. You used to be getting your digs at 8 o'clock. So you only had 8 to 10 before you shut down. Now you have there from 6 in the morning to 10. Then people are cooking, learning things, so much transformation around using technology to make your life better. So there's a lot more cooking, a lot more investment. People of cars, what can I do with my car? Seeing what is happening globally. But I think for me it's just shown the power of technology to help. I think it's helped keep people sane, especially for the first 1 or 2 months when people are not able to move around a lot. And also it, I would say, enabled productivity. So for us, I think, remember as all these decisions are being run, about these changes, looking for routers, looking for PPs, we're all working from home.
Yes.
So as a management team, all these discussions also just used to happen from people's houses. Yeah. And so the requirement for productivity was very high. Yeah. Okay. And I think technology really came through, because I wonder if this had happened 5 years before, what will have happened? Yeah. Because I don't think the country was as enabled, in terms of technology coverage, the mindset of people. Yeah. But now the IT adoption across the whole organization, even as we've had Microsoft Teams for 2 or 3 years, but the adoption now, everyone now uses that. Even I had it. But before, I used to see this thing, I said, okay, interesting, but even Zoom, I remember I saw Zoom last year the first time, okay, interesting, but now, cool tech, but now it's not cool tech, it's like an air, yeah? It's one of those things that if there's a global outage, it actually affects productivity, yeah? And I think the challenge we'll see is how does a society, actually transition, because yes, while actually, even if you go to children in school, while the children can learn digitally, there's so much more that you pick from school beyond, learning. There's interaction with your classmate is what builds you as a human being. You learn empathy, you learn how to listen, you learn how to operate in a group. But even for organizations, I've not seen anything in a long while other than Zoom calls. But you see, you need to build the relationship. I always say that the people who really suffered this pandemic is people who are starting their jobs as new employees digitally. When you are there physically, you will bump into people that tell you this is where the best food is. These are the
and that includes your new CEO.
That includes our new CEO. It was a challenge. It was a challenge, and I think for me there's productivity, but also there's a human network which actually makes things move. So I think one of the challenges of this pandemic is actually how do we not lose that power of the human network, and that power of the physical interaction that actually defines who we are as a company, culture, society.
All right, anyway, so let's talk a bit more about the downsides of technology, or rather when technology decides to let us down. And we've all experienced downtimes, regardless of whichever provider you're actually using. Some providers are better than others. I've been a Safaricom Home user for quite a long while. I actually believe since one of the very first early adopters. And downtime has been there occasionally, sometimes longer than others. But recently, I've noticed a trend of compensation, whereby just the other day, I was compensated a couple of shillings because there was quite a long downtime. And my friend has also been compensated in terms of mobile data because of 1 hour or 2 hours of downtime. And other times we just get hey, we are sorry kind of text, like sorry for the downtime and cheers. So what influences this difference in compensation? And is it something that as customers we should go forward expecting, or is it a one-time thing because of the pandemic and then afterwards we just accept that we'll be getting a sorry text and that's it?
Okay, so I think for me on fiber, people when they think about technology or connectivity, they think about the GSM. In GSM, once you put the site, now here maybe it's on. You see that site there? There's no interference. And then you connectivity to the site doesn't require any, let me say, physical infrastructure to you. Your phone will just pick the signal from there to the site. So whether they are doing road construction or anything, or there's a flood, there's no interaction. But on fiber, now we have to pull fiber from there cable to your home. For those who know what is fiber, it's called fiberglass. Actually, we keep forgetting the second part. And what is the characteristic of glass? Fragility. It is actually fiberglass. One of the times I told one of my friends, actually, this is when you say fiber, people think it's a copper wire like the ones of but it's actually a very brittle piece of glass. And I think we know, as you said, outages will always happen. So the question is actually, how do we enable the customer during this outage? So one of the things we used to do before the pandemic was this actually. I think if you go beyond 6 hours or something, in the end of the month you'll find a credit we'll just do it automatically because we are the ones who let you.
Yeah.
You paid for the service to be on 24 hours, 31 days of the month. We are the ones who let you down, so we do a credit. But some other things that we realized that beyond just the credit, people actually what is the consumer need is connectivity. Yeah.
Yes.
So we've been compensating people when we delay for the installation.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like now, when you had the router issue.
Yeah.
The router, they are not available in China, but the customer has paid and they want to continue being connected, or they want to start the connectivity. Yeah. So we used to, give the customer some, free data, until it stabilizes the, router supply.
Yeah.
The other area when sometimes we do compensation is that if we have an outage and then it takes more than 2 or 3 hours, or the contractor takes a bit long. So to just help you, or they are coming the next day, to make sure that you're not out of connectivity, we also provide some data. So we're just looking to say that eventually the customer just wants to get connected.
Yeah.
All the other things of why this has happened and how fast we'll fix and everything else is our internal issue.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've been looking to say all these touch points, whether we've delayed, anytime we've let the customer down. Yeah, either in say installation, how fast we've come to fixed, or whether when we know there's a issue, we try to proactively actually inform you so that you can plan. There's going to be a maintenance issue in this area, and just be aware. So at least you know that you don't schedule a very important meeting at that time, or make a backup plan. Yeah, or if you can't control all these things, we try at least give some mobile data. I don't think it's just for the pandemic. As a company, we have an obsession to become the number one customer obsessed organization in Kenya. So we have to leave it even beyond the pandemic.
Okay, and speaking of customers, so we've been enjoying double speeds since the pandemic hit. At least I'd say personally that is one of the benefits of coronavirus. And it seems like your infrastructure is handling it well. So are we going to maintain the same energy of double speeds? Or once things stabilize, should we just mentally prepare for things to go back to what we actually pay for?
So I think, as you said, double speeds was one of the decisions that we needed to take to work with the customers through this pandemic. One of the things we pride ourselves is that we are a learning organization. We said, let's just do it. Let's see what is the impact. So you've seen some, one, I think it accelerated, customer acquisition. There's much more customer affinity to the Safaricom Home Fibre, even if you see what the regulator released in terms of, market share movement up to the period of June. So it is working for us. So the question is actually how sustainable is it internally from a network capacity point of view, and also for the ambitions of home. So that is still under review. I think we should be able to have a point of view about that, what we do by around December or so, or January.
Now let's talk a bit about the future. So we've had 5G here, 5G there, and the question is not whether 5G will come to Kenya. We are sure that at one point in time 5G will actually hit the Kenyan market. It's just a matter of when. But now the question I have for you here is, when 5G comes, should we expect it to be not really a replacement for home fiber, but maybe something that complements home fiber? Or will it take the route of give it to the smartphone users per se? So what exactly do you think personally will happen when 5G actually comes into the country?
Okay, so first I hope you're not one of those people who believe that 5G is the one which brought corona.
I mean, one of the people who say that is absurd.
It's one of those things that have really made me interesting to see how people believe technology, evolution, and current issues. So I think, as you said, 5G is a reality. I think you have to ask yourself first, from a mobile data experience, what do you need to do that you can't do on 4G right now? Even you as a techie. Is there anything that you need to do that you can't do on 4G?
Honestly, I don't see it.
Yes. So actually that's the same thing that is the reality. The speeds on 4G can go up to 40, 50 Mbps. Most of the current services they never get there. Whether you're streaming, you're using 3, 4 Mbps, whether you're gaming. But the biggest difference in terms from a technology point of view is latency. Latency is the speed of reaction. That's actually it's not that because how much more speed you need beyond what you have on 4G? Very little. But 4G has some downsides in terms of latency. So in terms of reaction, by the time you press a command and then you get a sort of reaction. So that's what differentiates 5G. It's actually less about the speed. Yes, there is some ridiculous speed, but there's no service to take up that extra, which actually requires that you want GPS, speed they quote. But the difference is in latency. Now, when you come to latency, there are some services where latency is very sensitive. If you are doing this whole Internet of Things, if you go to driverless cars, the reaction between the time the car gives a command and the time processing and the car moving, milliseconds matter. Yes. Yeah, milliseconds matter. Now you start seeing the use cases of where now 5G starts becoming, paramount. And then the guys who are pro gamers, who do online, milliseconds matter. So 5G, think about any use cases where milliseconds matter in terms of latency, and that's why you'll start seeing the commercialization use cases for 5G. The second area is around, let me say, worry-free connectivity, which is now like fiber. But we've not seen the commercialization of that, happening, because we are watching what's happening in the rest of the world first. The interesting commercialization use cases that we've seen so far for 5G, even in the US, is around these areas where there is, need for very low latency. We've not seen it starting to replace, fiber. Maybe as the technology is evolved 5 years from now, maybe it will. But for now, it's actually being used in latency. I see this, I watch NBA a lot. So they have been doing this thing. They had a bubble, then they send the reporters. They have actually, those things of hologram. Now that's the sort of use cases, which is more about the latency, side. Once I think the technology matures, I suspect we start seeing it being a replacement to, fiber. But I think we are sort of 5 years, out of that for the moment.
Thank you so much, Charles, for your time and for your insights and everything. So one last question. Android or iOS?
Me, I'm an Android person.
Okay, good. Tutamalizia hapo. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate, and we hope next time that we'll be able to chat more on other things. So and thank you for also being Team Android, because hata mimi niko Team Android hapa. Kama watu wa iOS wako ile side. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. I hope that you've actually gotten insights and gotten to know a bit better about Safaricom Home and how things work behind the scenes. That's it from us, Gadgets Africa. Until next time, see you. Bye-bye. Kwaheri.